Your YouTube channel banner is one of the few opportunities you have on the YouTube platform to bring your brand to life. It's one of the most important places when people visit your channel. So let's look at 3 different examples in today's video of awesome YouTube banner ideas that you can utilize for your brand as well. We're going to look at 3 different options randomly. I have a whole slew. If you have a great channel banner that you've come across or that you'd like us to look at on your channel, then definitely send them to us. Post your links down in the comments and we'll add them to the queue. So without further ado, roll that intro. I'll see you on the other side. Hey visibility hackers, the first example we're going to look at today is from Lynn Allure's channel. She does entrepreneurship and blogging and lifestyle kind of content. Her brand is on point. I definitely recommend you check out her channel. The links are going to be down below. But let's talk about this really great channel banner. So I brought it up down below. You can check it out and we see a couple of great things. Let's start from one side and go across to the next. So on the first edge, right about here, we can see that her social channels are linked. This is a way of showing social proof and a way of building your community. If people want to engage with you on the YouTube platform, it's not as easy as it would be on some other platforms as well. So highlighting those connections to your other social platforms is really important. And we can see here aesthetically, it's done really well. We have all of her brand colors. We have her brand fonts. Everything's represented in a really sleek and tied together package. Really well done. Next, if we move on over, visually, we see a beautiful photo of her. It's contrasting to the background, it's eye-catching, and it's still on brand. This photo is eye-catching because her eyes are looking at the camera. That makes us as the viewer feel like we're engaged with this image. These little psychological tricks are really important. Now let's move on to the main title of her channel. So we have her name written in a more like handwritten font, which speaks to a certain brand personality. And we have clearly stated underneath that title what kind of content you can expect on her channel. She's got personal development, finance, and lifestyle content. Wonderful. But there's another part of this title that I want to draw your attention to. You can see just behind her name is another image of her, but it's not nearly as contrasty as the one to the right or to the left, depending on which direction you're looking at. That image behind the name is more subdued, it's more uniform in color, and it's a little bit ghosted into the background. Now, this is fantastic because from a graphic design perspective, it adds a level of depth. So I recommend looking for those opportunities to break away from just flat images. We've been working with flat images for a while and we're looking at breaking away from that. And this is a fantastic way that you can do that. So wonderfully done. It's not a solid background color. It's actually using that image, which is great. Now, the other thing I want to draw your attention to that really excites me about this channel brand is on the other side, on that side, you can see that there is an image there of a laptop computer with a little call to action on it to say, hey, download this great download the free guide to a perfect side hustle. Fantastic. That is an opt-in. That is something that you can trade, something of value, a checklist, a guide, something like that, that you can share with your audience who's interested in your topic, and that also brings them into your email list. This is a fantastic way of transitioning people from one platform to another, getting them from the YouTube platform and then moving them over into your world. Remember, YouTube is a search engine. So when people come across your content, they'll watch a couple of your videos if they're into your topic, and then they might actually subscribe to your channel where they get to see your channel banner a little bit more often. And if they're really into what you do, they're going to take that action because you've invited them and you've offered them something of value. So 10 points to this fantastic channel banner. Now, before we move on to our next banner that we're going to talk about, I want to know if you have a YouTube channel. If you already have a channel banner that you absolutely love, or maybe you're thinking about developing one, let us know down in the comments. Post your links. Let's hype each other up. I would love to see the kinds of content that you're creating for your business and your movement. Now let's move on to our next example. This is from a very popular YouTube channel that does the lead generation on YouTube into customer memberships and recurring revenue really, really well. This is a fitness channel run by a wonderful fitness influencer called Chris Heria. Let me explain what happens behind the YouTube content for this channel, what that funnel philosophy looks like. So the YouTube video is there as your lead generation. People are going to see his daily content. He's got himself, he's got other people who are creating videos on his channel to give that wonderful variety and consistency. From there, we can also see a lot of calls to action in his content that motivate people to move towards his membership. His membership sits on an app that you can follow along with and gives you extra added enhanced information for the workouts that you see in his content. He's also diversified his income streams by adding physical products and bundles that help his viewers achieve results even quicker with better and stronger lasting results. So that's a little bit about Chris Heria, and we can see a lot of that comes out in his channel banner. So if you have a wonderful back end that your customers are going to be able to see, you want to highlight that for your new leads on your channel as well. And Chris does that wonderfully. So we can see his channel banner is very contrasted. We have the striking red, we have the black and white background, and we have a great image that is really going to grab the attention of those who are in the fitness world or who aspire to be in the fitness world. So let's start again from one side and move across to the other. So we have this black area on the leftmost side, and I find that kind of a little bit of a missed opportunity. I like to pack things full, especially when the rest of the banner is so busy. This empty space feels out of place. He could have moved things over just a little bit, but I think what his design is actually designed on an older template because when you upload or when you design your channel banner, you actually have to design it in a completely different shape than what you see right now, because these are pulled off of viewing the channel on desktop. If you view it on mobile, you're going to see something different. If you view it through your television, if you have like YouTube streaming on your smart TV, your channel banner is going to look completely different. So keeping in mind how your channel banner needs to look on different platforms is going to be a little bit more of a challenge, but it's a challenge I think is really fun and exciting. And I think that's where this empty space is coming from, because everything else is aligned on the other side of that. So let's move on. Now we see shop essentials. Here are those physical products that are highlighted in each and every one of his pieces of content. These are the tools that you, the viewer, are going to need in order to be successful watching and following along with his videos, whether or not you take the step to join his recurring revenue. This is a beautiful mid-step opportunity to bring people into his world, to bring people into his movement before they truly commit to that longer-term recurring membership payments. We have the reminder to shop online. We have the very simple to follow links. Beautiful. We have those social calls at the bottom as well, showing that he's on a variety of different platforms, both with his own accounts, but also the brand accounts as well. Beautiful way to build that cinematic universe of your content. Well done. Right in the center, though, we have new videos on Sundays at this time. It tells your people what kind of content they can expect and when they can expect it. If you start out your channel by saying, we're going to have new videos 7 days a week, heck yeah, and then you realize a couple months in that that is not a schedule that you can keep up with, and then you start dropping down to maybe 3 days a week, to maybe once a week, to maybe once a month, that shows your audience, let's go back to psychological tricks, that shows your audience that you're in a decline. If, on the other hand, you start out with once a month and slowly grow up as your content, as your behind the scenes content creating abilities increase, then you're actually going to show growth in your channel and growth in your brand. That's going to send a completely different, much more positive message to your audience. But also, making sure that you tell them when your content is going to be arriving is really, really great. It shows that you're going to be consistent and it shows a level of authority. Now let's keep moving on, because now we're moving from the darker background over to that white part of the background. This is where we talked about this in the last banner. We have a great high contrast photo of our brand leader, and this would be Chris Heria. There's a big difference, though, between the banner we just looked at and this one. He's not looking at the camera. Instead, his eyes are drawn down towards his own wonderfully sculpted abs, which cause us, the viewer of the image, to do the exact same thing. Now, this is effective. Yeah, it's effective to have your eyes looking at the camera for one thing, but this is drawing our attention to specific results that his ideal customer is actually trying to attain. So instead of highlighting him as the center of his brand, instead he's highlighting results, which changes the perspective now to being highlighted and spotlight on him to a highlight and spotlight on the results that he can get you, his potential customers. So well done on that. Moving on, we see that he has his app, calls to action to get the app. He's going to use this call to action throughout his videos. So it really, from a branding perspective, ties it all in together. It adds that authority and it highlights his single focus. He wants people to utilize his app and pay his recurring membership fees. He does that super well. Now, I don't charge any recurring membership fees here on the Visibility Hacking channel, so why not hit the subscribe button while you're at it, and let's start talking about your content. All right, now let's talk about our final example in today's video. This is Dustin. He's actually a friend of the channel's. He's a friend of the Visibility Hacking team, and he creates... Oh man. Okay. So I got a soft spot for photographers who have like truly visionary ways of using their craft. And Dustin does this beautifully. What he does is he highlights cosplayers and takes them and the wonderful amount of work and detail and effort that goes into creating their costumes and becoming those characters. And he helps take that to the next level by photographing these cosplayers and placing them into the scene. Like, you have to check out his stuff. You have to check out his stuff. It's like he creates action movie posters simply out of a photograph of someone at a convention. And he's able to add in those layers of dust and smoke and change the lighting. He works magic, people. Magic. So go check out his channel. But let's talk about his banner before I start drooling over his content again. So this banner is different than what we've seen previously in this series. So we don't have any social calls. We can see down in the bottom right-hand corner, those icons are actually the links that you can type in on your YouTube channel. So you can limit those to 1 link, to 2 links, to 3 links, but you can't have too many. You also can't change the icons because those come directly out of the favicons from the site itself. So if you're linking to an Instagram account, it's going to have the Instagram logo. If you're linking, on the other hand, to your main web page or your funnel, then you and your designer have the ability to change that icon if you'd like it to be your logo, for example. But that's besides the point. What we see here that's super effective is bam, right in the center. High contrast from the orangey red that's in the background, this green frame, and we have this interesting look. He's doing the finger frame. He's got this interesting look that shows me that there's something deeper in this channel. There's something about his vision that you need to check out as a viewer. It adds intrigue. It adds interest. What we're not seeing is when is his posting schedule. We're not seeing what he actually does. We're not seeing any superheroes or fabulous Photoshop abilities around here. But what we see intrigues me. We know clearly who he is and what he does. He's a photographer and digital artist. Now I want to see more. And I actually feel like if we added more of those maybe social profiles like we looked at our first example in this video, or we have the posting schedule like we saw in our last video, I feel like maybe they wouldn't fit. They might actually change the aesthetic. This is an incredible channel that I definitely want you to check out. All of the channels that we have highlighted in today's video are going to be linked down in the description. And I want you guys, again, if you have any fantastic channels you've come across or your own channel you'd like us to check out, definitely link those down below because we're doing an entire series checking out these awesome YouTube channel banners so that you can start attracting your ideal customer, splash your brand everywhere, and really leverage the search engine ability of the YouTube platform to highlight your brand and your message. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I will see you again in our next one. And until then, remember, I love you. Be excellent to each other and just go live. Your people are out there and they are waiting for you.